Alright, so here I am at the Valiant Air Command, and let's see what they have inside.
Hey there, how you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you? My name's Roman.
Oh, hi Roman, I'm Bob.
Oh, very nice to meet you, Bob.
Yeah, Bob Barrows. I've been here several years as a tour guide. Yeah, I enjoy it. There's 40 plus airplanes here, 11 of which still fly. It's a really great museum. Are you coming into the museum?
Yeah, I would like to take a look.
Yeah, let me show it to you.
Oh, wow, that would be exciting.
Yeah. Here at the Warbird Air Museum, which is Valiant Air Command, and I'm here in the memorabilia room, and I'm next to an airplane that my uncle flew in World War II, the P-47 Thunderbolt. In fact, he shot down 7. You only needed to shoot down 5 to become a war ace. And if you look around, you'll see all sorts of memorabilia in this room that stretch back through all the wars. And World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all the recent wars. And it's a very interesting place. We have, out in the hangars, we have 40 plus airplanes, 11 of which still fly. And most of them are refurbished by a team of people that are mostly worked for Grumman Aircraft. They call them the Grumman Gremlins. Once again, I'm Bob Barrows. We're in the Warbird hangar at the Valiant Air Command. We've moved from the F-86 Sabre over to the Stearman. This is the airplane that in World War II the Army Air Corps used to train most of their pilots. My father flew this airplane in primary as the first airplane he flew, and went on to fly B-24s and B-17s in World War II. My father-in-law flew this aircraft in primary training, only he didn't make it to anything past that because he ground looped it. He told me he was out having a few too many beers the night before and ended up catching a wing when he landed, so he was washed out. It's a very tricky airplane to fly in tricky weather. And I guess they had tricky weather that day, a lot of wind.
Okay, Bob, so where do you want to go now?
Okay, well, we'll leave the Stearman and we'll go over and look at the B-25 bomber. It's the bomber that was flown off the aircraft carriers to attack Japan.
Right.
In, I think it was April of 42. And sitting next to it is a MiG-15, had the swept wing. In a minute, we'll see the B-25 Mitchell bomber.
Okay, excellent.
We just left the main hangar with the Stearman, and now we're over in the restoration hangar. And this is a B-25 I'm standing next to, a Mitchell bomber. This is the aircraft that flew off the aircraft carrier and flew into Japan and bombed Tokyo. It was April of 1942 when that occurred. And it was quite a demoralizing factor for the Japanese. And it was a very courageous plan on the part of us to do that, taking off knowing that we couldn't return to the carrier and land on it. So all of our pilots had to make their way into China or wherever they could to try and escape and come back home. I think 8 of them didn't make it.
So listen, Bob, I can't thank you enough in regards to showing me around the Valiant Air Command. There's so much to see, you just can't grab it all in one day.
Yeah, it's a great museum, and you could spend many days here. It's a great tribute to the aviators and heroes that flew these airplanes throughout all the different wars. We cover World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all the recent wars. We have all sorts of beautiful airplanes here, F-18s, some airplanes that the Blue Angels flew. It's a great place to come and visit. You could spend days here and not see it all.
And the other thing too is that by somebody coming and visiting here, you never know who you're going to meet. You know you're going to see great aircraft, but you're also going to see and meet great people, such as yourself. That we didn't plan this. I met you while I was parking my vehicle, and on we went. We got along, and next thing you know, you're telling me and giving me a guide through the museum. So you meet so many people with so much history that's just the extra.
Like
show.
the fellow that we talked to for an hour out here, just as before you came up, and then you came up about 3/4 of an hour into it. You know,
Right,
you
right.
had maybe 15 minutes of it, but the guy was so knowledgeable about aviation, about Lindbergh and about Jimmy Stewart, and you know, all sorts of things about his airplane and his airfield, and how they restored his airplane, and they're putting it up in front of the airport that he was from, and just all sorts of interesting stuff. And there goes one of the C-47s taking off. That's a real piece of history. That plane flew over the beaches of Normandy in World War II on D-Day.
So Bob, are you hungry? Where do you usually like to go eat?
Oh, there's a real nice place down the road called Kelsey's.
All right, it's my treat. Let's go. It's the least I can do to contribute back to what you've done for not only the museum, but for the freedom of this country. And I'm sure we're hungry about this time right now, so.
Yeah, for sure.
This is so friggin' cool. I'm taking a time lapse, and just right over here is an osprey that just lands right in front of me. Oh man, this doesn't get any better.